when Cody came out on Raw, he said he was competing against Roman Reigns for the WWE Undisputed Universal Championship. All those words in that order. The graphic came up. Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns, WWE Undisputed Universal Championship. To have Cody compete for anything besides the WWE Undisputed Universal Championship, which is both belts, would lessen the story that Cody is telling. You can't do that. We're going to WrestleMania with both titles on the line. So with that said, you also can't have Roman wrestling 2 matches at WrestleMania, because it would also lessen the story that Cody's been telling. And if Cody is wrestling for both titles, are you going to have, then that defeats the purpose of Roman having 2 matches. The only reason for Roman to have 2 matches would be to separate the titles, or the winner faces this or whatever. It's a moot point. I don't think it makes any sense anymore for that to happen. If it were me to save this thing, I would add Sami Zayn to that triple threat. I would go Roman, Sami, Cody. I think that is the best scenario for WrestleMania. I think the key is with Cody, regardless of what you do, if you do Roman versus Cody or Roman versus Sami versus Cody, I do not think Cody should win the title. I think Roman leaves WrestleMania as champion regardless of who he's facing today. When you ask me today, that's how I feel. And that's because we missed 6 months of the Cody story because he was injured. And we can't just pick up, whatever was going to happen at Money in the Bank and throughout the summer, SummerSlam, all that stuff is lost to time. And so the idea that we just go straight for wins the Royal Rumble, goes to WrestleMania, becomes the champion, we've missed the entire Act 2. Act 1 was Cody's incredible trifecta of matches with Seth Rollins. Act 3 is Cody's road from the Royal Rumble to WrestleMania. But we never got an Act 2. And so it's never going to feel as good. I think what you have to do is actually make this the beginning of Act 2. In order for Cody's story to work, I think we have to see him struggle. I think we have to see him lose. I think we have to see him really work for it. That's what has made Cody so damn popular in the WWE, is that all 3 of those Seth matches, he won everything, but he busted ass. Cody hit the height of his popularity when he beat Seth Rollins with a torn pectoral. And that's because we could see the bruising. We could see the damage. We could see what Cody was fighting through. That's what we need out of our baby faces. Struggle. That's why it took us so long to get behind John Cena. We saw no struggle in the beginning. That's why the first wave of Roman's career, nobody got behind him. Because when he was just being pushed to the moon as a babyface, we saw no struggle. We're not cheering for people that don't have to struggle. Hogan was the last one. Think about Austin. Austin got over because he fought the boss every step of the way, and we watched his entire history. His entire history of not being the guy became part of the storyline. Look at The Rock. The Rock's whole story was that he had to create this new personality because wrestling fans wanted him to die. Wrestling fans were introduced to this new character, and they responded by saying, I'd prefer he be dead than wrestling. Die, Rocky, die. That's what we need. And I know that was Rock's heel turn technically, but let's be honest. That's the foundation of who The Rock is and how he became this babyface. And if you go into it, him fighting against the corporation and everything, we go back to Mick Foley. Mick Foley was never supposed to be the guy. He had to struggle. It had to happen organically. Bryan Danielson. The whole yes movement, Kofi Mania, all of it. All of it. The baby face has to struggle. And we haven't seen Cody struggle since he went down to Seth Rollins. And that was a while ago. I think that the struggle comes when Cody loses WrestleMania to Roman Reigns, who fans are like, you got to be effing kidding me with Roman Reigns again. Which is fine that they feel this way now because he's a heel. They can boo all they want. And then you rebuild Cody. And because otherwise people are like, oh yeah, and then Cody will turn heel. It's like, no, you can keep him a babyface. You can keep Cody a babyface, which you need. You need strong babyfaces more than you need strong heels right now. Keep Cody a babyface and have him lose to Roman. And have him have to work his way back up. That's that's where I'd go with Cody, regardless of what happens. But look, odds are we may not get that triple threat match. It feels like WWE has decided, no. There are plenty of people who want to see Roman versus Cody. That's the marquee match. It's a singles match. It's, oh my God, Cody Rhodes is actually here in WWE. He's a Rhodes. He built this road himself, no pun intended. Here's Roman Reigns. He's the guy that can finally, Cody's the guy that can finally beat Roman. Like, there's plenty there. We're doing Cody versus Roman. That's the Night 2 WrestleMania main event. And I said, fine. I said, here's what I need to do as an exercise. I need to go, okay, why fight upstream? How do we make it so that we can still do Cody versus Roman at WrestleMania without people saying, it should have been Sami? That's what you need to do, right? You need to, you've got this Sami Zayn character who's lightning in a bottle. How do you make it with 2 months to go and a Roman Sami match right around the corner? How do you make it so that 6 weeks after the first Roman Sami match, fans don't just want that at WrestleMania? Well, here's what I'm thinking. Because that's what you got to do, right? They go, okay, Sam, I know you want that triple threat match. We're not doing the triple threat match. How do we make the singles match happen? If you're so good, Roberts, if you're so good at coming up with these scenarios, get us to Cody versus Roman without that damn Canadian being a distraction the whole time. I go, okay, all right. Here, by the way, I think in Montreal, Sami comes out to his old music and cuts his hair. He said in interviews that he was growing his hair out as being a heel, like making himself less desirable as a person. I think he cuts his hair. I think he has his old music back so people can sing along. Montreal going, oh, 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 oh. Come on. Too big of a moment to pass. But this is what I do. You've got 2 SmackDowns left, right? The next 2 SmackDowns are all about the Bloodline and Sami. And over on Raw, I would find a little something for Cody to do, right? I don't know if he's going to get involved. Maybe you don't. So I'm assuming they're going to do Edge and Beth versus Rhea and Balor at Elimination Chamber. So maybe you have Cody get involved with the Judgment Day for the next couple of weeks. We saw his match with Finn Balor, right? Maybe Damian Priest takes umbrage with him. Maybe we can get to a Damian Priest-Cody Rhodes match at Elimination Chamber. But what's key here is that up until Elimination Chamber, Cody stops talking about Roman, and Roman doesn't even acknowledge that the Cody match is coming. This is all about Roman and Sami. We're giving it all to you, okay? Jey Uso is not back on television. The fans clearly want Jay as a good guy. They want Jay and Sami to be together, right? Jay's not on television for the next couple weeks. We get to Montreal. We get to Elimination Chamber. Cody's doing whatever Cody's doing. It's Roman versus Sami. Sami comes out. And it's a hell of a match. It's fantastic. And there are moments where it looks like Sami Zayn might actually win. And the audience is convinced. Is this how they're going to do it? Is this how we're going to get to a triple threat? Is Sami Zayn going to beat Roman Reigns, win the title, and then he can go to WrestleMania to fight Cody and Roman? Is this what they're going to do? Of course, this is not what they're going to do because that's not the exercise here. What they're going to do instead is Jay is going to make his return to the WWE at the Elimination Chamber. And at the Chamber pay-per-view, Jay turns on Sami, costs Sami the match, shows his loyalty to Roman and the Bloodline. And Roman stands over, and then Kevin Owens comes out, tries to help Sami. It doesn't work. Roman stands over Sami. And Jay, Jimmy, Solo, and Paul Heyman, they're all together. They're all unified once again. Now, that's the end for the next 6 weeks of the Bloodline kind of being together. Bloodline business now completely separates. Because when you look at the Bloodline storyline, so much has revolved around Jey Uso. Jey Uso is capable of telling his own story. So what we're going to do, and you'll see them together. They'll come in together. They'll share a locker room, blah, blah, blah. But ultimately, after Elimination Chamber is when Roman starts focusing everything on Cody. Roman doesn't talk about Sami Zayn at all. Not at all. Because the Bloodline's back together. As we said earlier, the whole reason Roman's mad is because Jay is not in the Bloodline. So if Jay's back in the Bloodline and Roman has beaten Sami, Roman doesn't have anything else to say about it. Doesn't matter. So now Roman and Paul Heyman are singularly focused on Cody Rhodes. And Cody is done with whatever he was doing with the Judgment Day, whatever else. He is singularly focused on Roman Reigns. That story is being told, and maybe that story is being told a little bit more heavily on Raw. Roman is showing up to Raw a little more often. Because over on SmackDown, this is the key. Sami Zayn is done talking about Roman Reigns. Sami Zayn, at least temporarily, at least for the next 6 weeks, Sami Zayn's beef with Roman is over. Because now, Sami takes umbrage with the fact that Jay turned his back on him. Sami has been there for Jay the entire time. Think about the evidence that Jay presented at the Bloodline trial. Sami gave Jay the pinfall victory over Kevin Owens. Sami did everything to prove to Jay that that was his guy. And now you do this? And you build that story. And Jay tells Sami, no, dog, you betrayed me. I stood up in front of my family. And I stopped them from declaring you guilty. I told them that you were loyal. Go back and watch that trial. Go back and watch the tribal court. And listen to Jay specifically say, Sami is family, because that's the loyalty that Sami showed. What Sami did at the Royal Rumble, the crime that he committed, was he showed that he did not have the loyalty that family does. He didn't. Jay has every reason in the world to be mad at Sami. No reason in the world to be mad at Roman over it. So now what we've got is Jay, Jimmy, and Solo. And their business is all with Sami and Kevin Owens, who comes back. and we use those, and we, obviously we see them at the Chamber too, and we use the same tools that we use, the storytelling that exists. Think about how good the storytelling was at the beginning of this Bloodline. When you think about the Bloodline and the whole storyline, it's been my favorite thing in wrestling in Lord knows how long. But honestly, the best of the Bloodline are the bookends to where we are right now. The best of the Bloodline have been when Jay was a foil to Roman, when Jay and Roman were rivals, and when Sami was the foil. So what happens when you take that Jay element out and you take that Sami element out, and now they're telling a story? They are going to be able to tell a story together that leaves us feeling like it's just as big of a main event as Cody and Roman is. We don't need Roman to have Sami main event WrestleMania. The Bloodline story is so big in the WWE that it should main event both nights of WrestleMania. I don't think you could argue that. So, and what else would, honestly? So night 2, Sunday night, WrestleMania, is main evented by Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns. Undisputed Universal Championship. But night 1 of WrestleMania, for the first time, is main evented by a tag team championship match. Night 1 of WrestleMania is main evented by Sami and Kevin Owens versus the Usos. And I am telling you right now that there is no doubt in my mind that with 6 weeks between Elimination Chamber and WrestleMania, Sami Zayn and Jey Uso specifically will have you believing that the Usos versus Sami and KO is the single most important match of all of WrestleMania. I challenge you. You can email me, notsamwrestling@gmail.com. You can leave a comment on YouTube. Whatever you want to do, I challenge you. Give me, based on the materials that we have in front of us, a better night 1 main event than Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens versus the Usos. You tell me something's better, and I'll come back here next week, and I will eat my hat.